Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome everyone. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashtaprayeshva Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Just Bhagavad Gita as it is. Ki Jai. Granth Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai. जय श्री एक्टिव डिवोशन की जय श्री गुरुदेव की जय जगत गुरु श्री प्रभुपाद की जय श्री अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय श्री साई गॉड इन द प्रेमानंद हरि हरि बोल हरे कृष्ण. So Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome everyone. So before we start our today's program, just a quick info. I think next week we are planning not to have our Wednesday program because I think next week or the week after is 27th is this next week only. 27th Friday is Sri Ram Navami festival. So we will have an online program in the evening around from 6 o'clock onwards, 6 to about 8 o'clock. So we celebrate the appearance day of Lord Ram in our lives at our home. We can celebrate, make nice feast, enjoy our feast, do some celebration. And we should also on the day meditate upon Lord Ram, Mother Sita, his brothers, Lakshman, and his pure servant, Hanuman. And that way we will have the whole day we can think about and meditate upon Lord Ram and Ram Navami. It will be very nice, very apt. So those of you who cannot attend the program for your own reasons, you please let us know latest by day after tomorrow, which is Friday, New Zealand time, 5 o'clock p.m. Please write in the Leaders Sangha program. If you want to attend, go to ISKCON Auckland Temple or wherever you want to go, whichever temple. It's up to you. We'll be celebrating from evening 6 o'clock New Zealand time till 8 o'clock. And we invite devotees, whoever are coming, they're more than welcome to join us. It's a working day, working time for all devotees from India. So, we'll be doing this. And we'll be having devotees to give your realizations. So all of you, please in the Leaders Sangha, prepare yourselves and give about 20 minutes or so, you can speak 15-20 minutes maximum on appearance of Lord Ram. And we can discuss, we can speak from what you studied, No need to study which you have not studied, books. And as you know, this is our mood. And there's no difference between Lord Krishna and Lord Ram. They are the same. So the instructions of Bhagavad Gita would relate to Lord Ram also. Yeah. So I just thought I'd quickly mention that before we start our today's program. Hare Krishna. Okay. So, and who would like to start your realizations, please? And others can join the program, join the realizations afterwards. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, His Grace Amrish Prabhu, Her Grace Purnya Panga Dasi Mataji, and His Grace Krishna Prabhu. Thank you for giving me opportunity to speak and find something to speak every week as a realization. And believe me, it's a hard job, Prabhu. But you make us think. So That's more important. रजो रागात्मकं विद्धि तृष्णा संगा समुद्भवम् तना निबधनाति कौन्तेय कर्म संगेन देहिनाम् रजो रागात्मकं विद्धि तृष्णा संगा समुद्भवम् तना निबधनाति कौन्तेय कर्म संगेन देहिनम् रजो रागात्मकं विद्धि तृष्णा संगा समुद्भवम् तना निबधनाति कौन्तेय कर्म संगेन देहिनाम् Translation purpose से Vaishla Prabhupada की जय. Raja, the mode of passion. Raga Atmakam, born of desire or lust. Vidhi, no. Krishna, with hankering. Sangha, association. Samudbhavam, produced of. Tat, that. Nibadha Nati, minds. Kaunteya, O son of Kunti. Karma Sangena, by association with fruitive activity. Dehinam, the embodied. The mode of passion, born of desire or lust. No, with hankering. Association, produced of, that binds, O son of Kunti, by association with fruitive activity, the embodied. Translation. The mode of passion is born of unlimited desires and longings. O son of Kunti, and because of this, the embodied living entity is bound to material fruitive actions. The mode of purport. The mode of passion is characterized by the attraction between man and woman. Woman has attraction for man and man has attraction for woman. This is called the mode of passion. And when the mode of passion is increased and develops the hankering for material enjoyment, he wants to enjoy sense gratification. For sense gratification, a man in the mode of passion wants some honor in society or in the nation. And he wants to have a happy family with nice children, wife, and house. These are the product of the mode of passion. As long as one is hankering after these things, he has to work very hard. Therefore, it is clearly stated here that he becomes associated with fruits of his activities and thus become bound by such activities. In order to please his wife, children, and society, and to keep up his prestige, one has to work. Therefore, the whole material world is more or less in the mode of passion. Modern civilization is considered to be advanced in the standard of mode of passion. Formerly, the advanced condition was considered to be in the mode of goodness. If there is no liberation for those in the mode of goodness, what to speak of those who are entangled in the mode of passion? So this is again very important verse. Krishna's instruction is introducing mode of passion and how mode of passion exists. That's Prabhupada explaining in the purport. Now our challenge is that we understand what Krishna is saying, not only understand, we realize it, and we try to practice. And that's whole purpose of our activities of being Krishna conscious. And I think everybody is doing as per his own capacity, as per his own realization, as per his own purity, to come out of this mode of passion. Now, I remember long back, we had a class where Amrish Prabhu was talking about, I was very new, about this mode of passion and coming out of this mode of passion. And that a very nice word I heard. I was in my corporate world, so I never heard those kind of words. Desirelessness. So you have to become desireless to become Krishna conscious. And there a lot of discussion on this. So when you become Krishna conscious, when you have a Krishna consciousness, you automatically become desireless and without tail and all those things. That's the whole practice we do. So, and this is the whole idea of all our exercise, to remain engaged with our limited capacity and understanding and situations. Everybody is in a different situation. But I don't know whether this is a valid question or not. But after spending so much time in Krishna consciousness, I don't know so much time or so less time. I don't know. It's just a statement that Krishna consciousness becomes your habit, and you tend to do nothing other than Krishna consciousness. Whatever you do, it's not important. And I feel that if those activities are not properly, what I should say, if not properly done, or if there is a mental concoction involved into this, then I'm feeling that those activities start losing the purpose. And that's what's happening with now new devotees coming in our group. They're bringing a lot of freshness to our group and asking so much question. And I remember Amrish, who heard this in your recording, Prabhu, that this question has not been asked by us, this question has not been asked by us. And I meditated on this, that why it is like this, that we don't ask questions. Or I have got a lot of questions when I was reading those purports. So I can always ask this question, which I have not understood. So my realization onto this is that we don't have any objective. When we have an objective, I remember you introduced me the word MBO long back, management by objective. Now everything is on a different level, different sphere. Everybody is now. We are doing so many things. Everybody is doing so many things, and so when there is no purpose, there is no question. What I'm doing here, and the question comes to mind when you're trying to solve a problem. When you think that, okay, I have to do this, and okay, what should I do, and how should I do? So I feel that the reason why we are not asking questions, whatever topic you start discussion on, is because we don't have any purpose, we don't have any objective. So that's why last couple of weeks I've asked you a question of Bhagavatam, and again I have made some notes and I've got some questions to ask. And I know it's a very limited time, and I've not given you time, I've not given a heads up. But I would probably keep asking those questions because yes, they help. But the main point is missing the objective. Why we are doing this? We are all limited to our own sphere of things. We are all doing different things in a different in our own way. And yeah, we all feel that we are disengaged. That's my feeling. And I'm also responsible for this. So coming back to this particular verse, because you conduct these classes not for our understanding of these verses, realization, and your leadership Sangha, that you try to you give opportunity for us so that we develop this Krishna consciousness and follow this with more intensity, and how we are actually going to lead and become example. Leadership is by example only. So that's the idea. So that's why getting realization every week is very hard. Okay, we have a lot of discussion in the classes we conduct, in the problem we solve, the new devotees coming, the old devotees going, and all those things keep happening. But that is activity, not realization. And again, the age factor comes. So probably I'll stop here because I'm talking about more myself than about anything else. So the mode of passion is born of unlimited desires and longings, O son of Kunti, and because of this, the embodied living entity is bound to material fruitive actions. So Krishna is very clear, crystal clear. I've heard this word from you, black and white. Krishna is no gray. So he's saying that if this is a situation, this is how it is. And then Prabhupada explained, giving one example of attraction between man and woman. There are many such examples, mode of passion. And there is Lord Brahma is also in a mode of passion. So, but he's doing something to please Krishna. So, there's a lot of things onto this, and Bhagavatam talks about it again very elaborately. And now since we are in mode of passion, so I would like to again bring a verse which we discussed long back, Prabhu, and that again talks about this mode of passion. Again, I'm not trying to become, I'm probably becoming more technical here, which probably you can correct me if I'm going out of track. So that mode of passion is the reason for intelligence to come up. That's how intelligence is. Like we discussed last time, that mode of goodness with false ego is that's how mind is created. The intelligence created by mode of passion and false ego. And the Bhagavad talks about this. So intelligence is basically to guide or for our senses how to be engaged, right and wrong, all those things. Again, depending upon the ego or the passion, intelligence accordingly work. We are again contaminated, and again that spiritual intelligence comes into the play. And so that verse where very nicely this same point, this point keeps coming up in Bhagavatam and in our reading. But I would like to recite that verse just to make probably more sense. तैजा सातु विकुर्वाणात् बुद्धितत्वम् अभूत्सति द्रव्य स्फुरणा विज्ञानम् इंद्रियाणाम् अनुग्रहः तैजा सातु विकुर्वाणात् बुद्धितत्वम् अभूत्सति द्रव्य स्फुरणा विज्ञानम् इंद्रियाणाम् अनुग्रह. So thank you, Amrish Prabhu, for training us how to read these verses. I'm still trying to learn word by words. Each word has got meaning. Each word has got its own significance. Indriyanam anugraha. That's all those things I've learned from you. Buddhi tattvam abhutsati. Dhavya spurna vijnanam. Again, all credit goes to you, Prabhu. That's how we have learned, and now we try to show off that we are big devotees. The translation is, by transformation of the false ego in passion, intelligence takes birth. O virtuous lady, the functions of intelligence are to help in ascertaining the nature of objects when they come into view, and to help the senses. So that is how intelligence came into existence. I hope Prabhu will remember that subtle body ends, no? And I was again meditating onto this, that subtle body is also out of those 24 elements. They're created out of those things. Those elements, no, the 24 elements or 25, whatever, yeah. And everything manifests as the creation happens, no, subtle body, then gross body, and sub-creation, everything, no, there are a lot of things happening here. So that ending part I could not understand. I probably am still to meditate. I think that how means, like our gross body doesn't is finished or destroyed. So subtle body is not destroyed, is ended. So there is little, I'm not very clear. So whenever you get time, Prabhu, you can always correct me. Now I'll quickly read this purport, so that what Krishna is saying about passion, and that how intelligence comes into effect because of this passion, and what is the purpose of intelligence, how we implement this knowledge.
So just give me the verse number again, Prabhuji, before
3:26, 29, Prabhu.
2629. Yes.
Canto 3, chapter 26, 29. Yeah.
Thank you.
You have given a big lecture on this, Prabhu. And I could not find my notes on desirelessness, which you have given me. I think I'll find because that time handwritten notes with my lot of incapability. So purport, intelligence is the discriminating power to understand an object, and it helps the senses make choice. I think I've read this. Therefore, intelligence is supposed to be master of senses. The perfection of intelligence attained when one becomes fixed in activities of Krishna consciousness. By the proper use of intelligence, one's consciousness is expanded. And the ultimate expansion of consciousness is Krishna consciousness. So basics remain same. Basic doesn't change. Fundamentals remain same. But how we do it, what we do it, is up to us. That is purely our ego. That how we actually implement all those things to benefit ourselves. And one more thing, Amrish Prabhu, I wanted to ask you. You can answer. You need not to answer if you feel right. Is that you always say, you've said a couple of times, and I've heard. I don't attend many of your discussion classes. That trance is very painful. So if trance is very painful, then why devotees want to go in trance? And are devotees, unless it is a material level, Prabhu, unless, means like if I talk, whenever I get confused, I always look at Maharaj and Prabhupada and how they did it. And so if trance is painful, then why devotees want to be transcendental? Or if that, what is that pain for which you are discussing? It is something to do with the activities you do, or it is something which is bothering you, which I probably need to understand. And if you feel like you can answer, if you feel that's not a good question to ask, then probably you can say no. You will not understand.
Trance is painful. I don't know whether I say this. When did I say this? Trance is painful.
Yeah.
This new
No, you
need to
said that, yeah, bhakti is not for everyone. Bhakti is for not faint-hearted. In that sense,
yes,
you have said, oh,
yes.
yeah,
Bhakti is not for faint-hearted, and
yeah,
transcendental.
yeah,
Transcendence, serving transcendence is not for everyone. That's what I
yeah.
would have said. So not trance.
No,
The
yeah, I
person who
agree,
is
Prabhu.
transcendental, how to deal with that person is not that easy. And
Okay,
how to serve transcendence. Yeah, I would say how to serve transcendence is not easy. We all want to
okay,
serve transcendence or transcendental person or this, but we do not know how to deal with them because
got it.
it's not on the material level that you deal with them. It's very different. It's
Yeah.
very painful. So what, because the needs of the transcendental person, you can never satisfy, you can never fulfill. And you can never say, why is he doing like this? You know?
No,
But they do it because according to our thinking, we think like this, it should be like that, you know. So transcendence, serving transcendence is not that easy. That's what I said. You know?
okay, yeah. I thought that, yeah, I agree because, and it's hard because we are contaminated. Yeah, I'm contaminated, and unalloyed is, yeah, it's not unalloyed. It's mixed. That's why it's painful for somebody who wants to serve a transcendental person. Correct, Prabhu?
Yeah, what happens is this, that we all want to serve transcendence. You know, that's why we sometimes say that Krishna, if he comes in front of us, what will he do? We'll run away. He's looking at his opulences. You know, it's very opulent. You know, very difficult. So he has to suppress his opulence. Similarly, a transcendental person also many times suppresses his opulences. Okay, so it is very difficult to understand first transcendental person. Why is he? Because we are not transcendental. And then to serve is a different situation. So most of the time, a transcendental person remains on his own, aloof from this world, living in this world, but aloof from this world, you know. And they do not expect much from people to understand what they're talking about, what are their needs. They're very different. We may think that okay, they need this food, they need that thing, they need bed to sleep and all those things, but they're very different. Um, and one has to really utilize one's intelligence in its pure form with pure bhakti to really understand what is his personality trying to teach and in what way can we serve. That is what I meant. Not that trance is painful. Serving transcendence is not for everybody. It's not faint-hearted. You know, we think we make it very cheap. Yeah. So that's what I was trying to say. If we study Prabhupada's books thoroughly, if we are studying Bhagavad Gita like this, we'll come across this as a personal realization. It's not that easy. Yeah, yeah, that's what I thought. Is that okay?
Yes, bro. Yeah, understand what. Yeah, probably. Yeah. Yes, bro. I understand what you just said.
Yeah, because if Prabhupada says that I have not, many times I was reading this, that Prabhupada's servant asked Prabhupada, that I see you reading your own books. So I never see authors reading their own books. Why do you read your books? Because they observed and asked everything to Prabhupada, because it's new for them, all this Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada said that because I have not written these books, Krishna dictated and I wrote, and that's why I'm reading it. So this is very high. We may take it cheaply. Yeah, Krishna wrote, Prabhupada wrote, Krishna dictated, Prabhupada wrote. But what does it mean? How do we have to then handle these books, which is Krishna's books? Yeah, and which if imagine this, Krishna dictates and Prabhupada writes. If somebody says, how will we react to this? We minimize it, you see. But how do we have to react to this situation and those books, those words? That is to be understood. Then we want to change things and all those things. Excuse me, just a call is coming. I'll just through. So yeah, these are the points which we have to meditate upon. These are personal realization. Yeah. ठीक है प्रभु जी?
Yes, bro.
Okay. Hare Krishna. And the next
Sorry,
question
bro.
which you have, you want to answer the question now? So the question which the functions
Yes,
of
bro. If you
intelligence
can.
are to help. Your question was, by transformation of false ego in passion, intelligence takes birth. O virtuous lady. The functions of intelligence are to help in ascertaining the nature of the objects when they come into view, and to help the senses. Yeah. So very good
Yeah.
questions you've been asking. It's very nice. It's helping me actually. That's a hidden
Thank
reason
you,
why
bro.
I ask for the questions. So what was your question? The second part you said you couldn't. What you wanted to clarify in the second
Yes,
part,
bro.
Prabhuji?
I was meditating. You said that subtle body. I had a lot of discussion with my wife. She's defeated me in the discussion, but I'm still not convinced. Is about ending of this subtle body, because gross body, we know we go means I had a lot of I have a lot other things to share, but probably we'll keep it here focused on this question. Uh, uh, when the body when actually I'm not got that verse at the moment with me and the purport. When the body is good for when somebody dies and we go and burn his body and all those treatment, all these things happen, and we actually all those gross body is actually finished. No, it's converted into air and all those things. Water, it goes and merges into this. It's very nicely explained, and I'm not able to put it articulate it properly. So in that, the subtle body and gross body, and in that purport, Prabhupada also write that if that soul has no desires, subtle body also ends, or not ends. Something else has been written by Prabhupada, and find that out. So when yeah, the cremation happens. That's what I am talking about. That time, gross body is finished. Subtle body is also finished, depending on the consciousness of that soul. So that question remains in my mind that when we die or when someone dies, so subtle body, I know that it goes with depending on and it carries away all the desires and everything. But at some stage, when some pure devotee, what happens to their subtle body? They ends, or they're finished, or that's I'm still trying to understand.
Oh, this is a
You've
different
already
question
answered
to
this
what.
question.
Yeah, this is a different question to what you were asking me about passion. So
No?
okay,
Oh,
I'll ask
passion.
this.
Okay.
I'll answer this question first. So yes, as we discussed before, as you also know, that the living being is born in the material world, and because of the interaction with matter, gets his gross body and subtle body. So when the time comes for the individual soul to leave this material world, He gives up the gross body and the subtle body also and goes back to Godhead at this stage. Till the time that the body is existing, he requires to live in the material world, subtle body is existing. The subtle body is given up when the soul leaves this material world.
I forgot my question. Oh, I did ask you some question. I'm trying to think hard. What
No,
was
no,
the
second
question
question I know. I
about?
remember the second question, but answering this question, is this okay? Answer the question about your subtle
Yes,
body.
Prabhuji, as you have said, that is not right and wrong. That how I understand things. So you just have you have said I've had a lot of discussion, and my wife keep repeating the same point which you have just told me. So I
Yes,
understand that, Prabhu. I understand.
okay.
But maybe
So
I
it's
have
how
got
you
I've got
understand.
engineering background, so I said how the transformation takes place. Sorry, Prabhu. Because everything is created, no, they start with ego, start with sound, then all those gross elements come, then all those subtle body come into existence. So everything is being created when the universe
Yes,
come into
yes,
existence,
that's
no,
right.
everything
From
is being
subtle to
created.
gross.
And
From subtle to gross, everything is created.
no, even before that, Prabhu, even before that, everything comes out of false ego. And because of false ego, the intelligence and mind and all this starts coming into existence, and all those gross elements also come into existence: earth, water, fire, and ether. So when they are being created, when they are coming in existence, means similarly I've read that when actually these things annihilated, or when the things end, they also going to merge into those things. I've read this, but I have not made note, and I don't have at the moment in ready reference. Then again, though, go back to, yeah, go back to somewhere. Probably. Yeah, it
Yeah, you're
means
talking about the
from where they have
process.
come, they go. The cycle is complete. Sorry.
Yeah, so the process maybe if you understand the process, it will answer your question.
Yes, sir.
So from the subtle elements of this material world, gross elements are created. And these gross elements, from subtle to gross, even our body's covering of the soul is created. So when that soul is ready to leave this material world, he gives back the subtle body also to this material world, lives here. He merges his intelligence to the
Yes.
intelligence. He merges his false ego, it doesn't exist, false ego is gone. Yeah. Mind and intelligence, he gives back to this Mahat Tattva. As he gives the gross
Yes.
body is
Yes. Yes.
given, he gives this also, it's also merged back. And then he leaves.
Yes.
इस
Yes.
material वर्ld से कुछ उसको लेना
Yes.
देना है
Yes.
ही नहीं. So that's why
Yes, yeah. Now
this,
we are no, yeah, same thing every Prabhu. Yes.
ठीक है ना? So this is there in Bhagavatam, and at this point in time, when those living beings they give up, they give back, दे देते हैं वापस सब कुछ दे देते हैं, ठीक है ना? So
Yes, सब
इसलिए
लीन है जाता है प्रभु. Yes, everything.
yeah. So even the mind is merging to the mind, and
Yeah.
intelligence is also part of the mind function given back. There is no question of false ego, and this gone. After that is finished. ठीक है? So this is how it's a actual function, how one lives.
Yes.
और वो बाद में
Yes.
नहीं होता, उसी वक्त होता है. वो जो
Yes.
आदमी जो those transcendental personalities when they are leaving, they don't, you don't think that okay now they are dead, so after this that happens. No, it happens then.
Yeah.
ठीक है ना? उनकी जो क्रिया होती है वो अलग ही होती है. इसके लिए
Yes.
मैं बोलता हूँ कि इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. अगर हम गुरु महाराज, आई वाज देयर एट द लोटस फीट ऑफ महाराज. आज एक बात सुनिए. एवरीबॉडी इन द वर्ल्ड न्यू महाराज वर अबाउट टू लीव द बॉडी, करेक्ट? प्लेनेट, बरोबर?
Yes.
कितने लोग भागे वर्ल्ड में से देखने के लिए महाराज को मिलने के लिए? कितने लोग भागे?
10 15. हाँ, कुछ लोग भागे.
बराबर ना। बाकी लोग बोला मेरा नौकरी है, मेरा फैमिली है, ये हो है। हमने बोला नौकरी है, फैमिली है, मारो गोली, मैं चला, हम लोग चले, गुड बाय गुड लक।
I know that.
समझे ना। तो इसमें से ये जो हमने वो एक्सपीरियंस होता है प्योर ड्यूटी का, ये वो अनुभव देकर गए हैं महाराज। एंड आई वाज टॉकिंग टू वन ऑफ आवर वेरी क्लोज डिसाइपल ऑफ महाराज, वेरी सीनियर टू मी, इस बात ही सेड हमको समझाए नहीं महाराज, वी होपफुली वी टेक बैक 20 years बैक कि हम वापस कुछ करें और माँ से मिल पाए। He was saying this, you know. So that is his experience, and very personal. And my experience of Maharaj, Shri Maharaj, is very different. वो ऐसे एक्सपीरियंस जो है वो नॉर्मल वर्ल्ड में people don't want to have this experience again. ऐसा कभी मत करना, you know. ऐसा एक्सपीरियंस मत देना वापस। बहुत इतना जलने का कैसे, how will you live in a place which is burning and you cannot walk in, walk out? You have to sit there quietly and chant, and you can't even chant. ठीक है ना? So transcendence, how that personality lives life, how one has to serve that personality, this is very difficult for ordinary living beings to understand. So, when that soul leaves the material world, how the soul is, the living being is interacting with matter, interacting with surroundings, and with you at that time is at a different level. ठीक है ना? अब ऐसे कैसे आप समझ पाओगे कि उस वक्त I told him, this devotee, I'm telling you now, I told him after so many years, कि मैं था महाराज के साथ अकेला था रूम में, and Maharaj told me उससे बुलाओ। Maharaj did not tell me, you understand this, please. You may say it's mental speculation, I will say 100% mental speculation, but I tell you 200% has happened. Maharaj told me, not by words. I was there with Maharaj alone. On the day Maharaj disappeared, Maharaj went to Golok Vrindavan. Few hours before, full control Maharaj was. Full hours ऐसा नहीं था कि भाई Maharaj were effulgent, you know, ready to go, you know. तो Maharaj ने मुझे बोला, very good what you are doing. अभी उसको बुलाओ तुम। And I'm also talking, मैं कैसे बात करूँगा? बोला Maharaj is talking me. How do I call him? I do not know what's going on. Maharaj बोला बुला उसको तुम। वो तुम्हारी बात मानेगा, उसको बुला के लेके आओ अभी। ये बात हो रही है, आंखों से मुझे महाराज ने बताया। Can you believe this? I cannot believe it myself, but this happened, and I'm telling you matter of fact. And I told him, I'm telling you now, Maharaj asking for you. आया वो बाद में, वो आया, no doubt. Maharaj would not never go without blessing him. But this is what happened. Now ये मुझे बताइए कौन करेगा before transcend living the person, living the material world. लोगों को मालूम ही नहीं पड़ता है was living or dead. हाथ में चल रहा है, पैर नहीं चल रहा है, ये हो रहा है, वो हो रहा है। महाराज फुल कंट्रोल, ऐसे मुझे बोल कर गए महाराज। और मेरी क्या हैसियत भाई? वो 2 4 5 6 घंटे पहले मैं वहां से अकेला हूँ वो रूम में, और वी नो महाराज अबाउट टू लीव। तो महाराज गिवन अप वाटर, ईटिंग, ड्रिंकिंग, सब कुछ। महाराज स्टॉप टॉकिंग, वी नो दिस। तो लास्ट ईयर आ गया, आ जाओ तुम। भाग के गया मैं वहां पर, मुझे चक्कर आने लगे, पर ये बात हुआ वहां पर। दिस ट्रांसेंडेंस। और उस वजह से मैं आपको ये बोल सकता हूँ कि आज भी बोलता हूँ महाराज को, मैं बोलता तुम चिंता मत करो, तुम करो आगे, बढ़ते रहो तुम। ये मैंने एक्सपीरियंस किया है और ये फैक्ट है। भले महाराज नॉट स्पीक, and it can be termed as mental speculation in the material world, which I fully agree. But I know what happened. There's only one part. There are so many other things that happened at that time. So transcendence जो है, when a person gives up, they are not of this material world, not at all of this material world. वही पर्सनालिटी को जब भी फोन होता है महाराज अबाउट टू लीव द बॉडी, लीव द मटेरियल वर्ल्ड, सो रहे हैं ना, पीपल कैन नॉट कंट्रोल। किसी ने फोन किया, बोला ये बात करना चाहते हैं, इंपॉर्टेंट पर्सनालिटी, सब सन्यासी वगैरह। महाराज के कान में, महाराज नॉट टॉकिंग, आई वॉज देयर, आई सॉ। महाराज के कान में फोन रखा तो महाराज उठ गए सोते सोते, and Maharaj were nodding with open, with open mouth and laughing, not speaking because बात करने का था नहीं महाराज को किसी से। But Maharaj was speaking like this. They spoke something on the other side. Maharaj उठ गए सोते से और हंस और with big mouth Maharaj बात ऐसे Maharaj wanted to speak but with उन्हें सुना भी होगा वहां पर क्या मालूम उन्होंने जो भी थे वो और वो आदमी 2 घंटे में 1 घंटे में पर्सनैलिटी अबाउट टू लीव दिस मटेरियल वर्ल्ड कैसे हो सकता है मुझे बताइए ये बोलते ही मैं बोल रहा हूँ आपके रोंगटे खड़े हो जाएंगे कैसे हो ही कैसे सकता है ऐसा सो ये जो बात है ना ये ट्रांसेंडेंस को समझना बड़ा मुश्किल है और मैंने कुछ बातें बहुत दफे दोहराई हैं आप लोगों के साथ कुछ बातें बोली नहीं है बातें बिकॉज समझ ही नहीं पाएंगे इसलिए जो है चले तो परंपरा मर्सी विल बी देयर फॉर महाराज सबको हो जाएगा एंड महाराज आर वेरी मर्सीफुल टू एवरीबॉडी सो इसमें क्या होता है कि द लिविंग बीइंग गोइंग बैक टू द पॉइंट गिव्स बैक द इंटेलिजेंस बैक टू मटेरियल वर्ल्ड महत्व में दे देते हैं मुझे कुछ चाहिए ही नहीं चाहिए नहीं मतलब ले लो ये ले लो वो ऑल 24 एलिमेंट्स आर गिवन बैक एंड द सोल इज लिविंग ठीक है ना और उसके उसकी परिभाषा आपको देखने मिलती है डेफिनेशंस ऑफ दिस यू कैन सी व्हेन द पर्सन सिम्टम्स ऑफ इट इन द लिविंग बीइंग ठीक है ना so this is a process that happens hopefully it will help you to understand that it gives back it is given back to the material world everything also soul is back where it goes best purely ठीक है ना is it okay प्रभु जी
Yes, yes.
now the point which you are asking me
Yeah,
about the second by transformation of false ego in passion intelligence takes birth or virtuous lady the functions of intelligence are to help in ascertaining the nature of objects and when they come into view and to help the senses. So which part you were having question on this, Prabhuji? The second part you said you have some question. What is the question?
I forgot question, Prabhuji. Yeah, a lot of discussion, good discussion. So let other devotees give relation, and I'll probably I'll come back to question later on.
Okay then. Hare Krishna. Shila Gurudev ki jai, Shila Prabhupada ki jai. Let others speak now their realizations. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, David. Thank you, His Grace Vishnuji, Hare Krishna, and His Grace Krishna Samatram Krishna Prabhu for training us and giving us opportunity to study and share our realization of the Bhagavad Gita verses. And thank you, Nash Prabhuji, for your very nice realization. And thank you for asking, those important questions. So yeah, actually very good to listen to this discussion on this question and answer. A lot of new things that we are learning because of this. So thank you very much. So Bhagavad Gita, chapter 14, verse 7. Rajo ragatmakam vidhi Krishna Sangha samudbhavam tan nibadha tan nibadhanti kaunteya karma sangena dehinam. Srila Prabhupada Ji ki jai. The mode of passion is born of unlimited desires and longings. O son of Kunti, and because of this, one is bound to material fruitive activities. So, Srila Prabhupada has given us a very nice purport. It's very clearly described. So, in the previous verse, there was a discussion about the mode of goodness. And now, actually, Krishna is giving information, knowledge, action needs. So, it's quite easy to understand, and I actually found it. The purport is very straightforward, and Srila Prabhupada says that actually the mode of passion, is characterized by attraction between man and woman. So actually, when I was actually trying to understand this verse, I remember this discussion, I think very long time. I think when we went to I think one of the camp. So I was very new at the time. I'm still new, but at the exam very, I think beginning maybe first or second year, and I was hearing the discussion about, Amrish was speaking about actually, how people actually behave in this material world and referring to the restaurants there, and actually how everybody's drinking, the alcohol and actually eating meat and, they're actually dating and all that, actually relationship, The central point is the actually sex, and I also heard Srila Prabhupada's lecture. And Srila Prabhupada's lecture is, he also actually, always, many times he mentioned that actually the highest form of happiness in this material world is the sex. So actually the attraction between the man and woman, so we see this everywhere, not just in human being, but all the spaces. And it's like a central knot. So actually I didn't understand that actually, until I came to, it's actually the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. So everything is driven, from there. Maybe it's not for actually all the people, but major of the people in this material world, you can see, actually, if you trace back, so you can actually understand. And even especially in today's world, the social media, how actually things are happening around us is quite revealing. So here, Srila Prabhupada is saying that everyone has, actually a lot of material desires and hankerings for this actually material things around us. And the reason I said is very easy to understand because actually I have experienced this and I'm still experiencing the same thing what is described in this verse. So yes, actually, once you have the family, the children and the wife, so actually you are naturally become attached, and actually it propels you to actually you have to work hard. You have to maintain the family, you have to maintain their needs and their desires, and actually your own desires. So actually everything actually necessitates the hard work. So yeah, I was thinking on this point, and also remember that actually the New Lincoln Community Center we learned this. I remember this that actually there was an example from one of the Srila Prabhupada's purport that actually Amrish mentioned that actually our propensity to work, actually everybody want to work hard, and we see this tendency, especially in the Indian people, especially who come abroad, they're actually trying to actually work, long hours and try to make more and more money. And we used to actually go and try to preach, in one of these actually night markets. So I remember I was talking to the person, and actually everyone gives the same excuse, when we try to actually distribute the book that they don't have time. They're busy with the work and all that. And Amrish Prabhu said that if you actually work like a donkey, if you want to work hard, then Krishna will make sure that you work hard. He will give more and more opportunities, or create a situation that you will naturally actually force to work hard. But if you prepare, if you have the desire to actually come onto this path and actually, dedicate some time to study these verses and try to gain this knowledge, then actually, Krishna actually, as he is actually time personified, he gives the time, for the people, who are actually endeavoring on this path. And when I think on this, I also realize that actually these things happen. And even Amrish Prabhu said that, actually, when we try to do the services, then actually the Krishna actually, actually he increases our capacity. So yeah, actually we see this, it actually happens because initially I struggle myself to even chant the 16 rounds. So, but actually as we get more and more involved in, so things fall in place. So actually, while meditating on this verse, because is actually very the central point is actually desire, and I mean Rashprabhu also spoke on this point of becoming desirelessness. So I remember this discussion from the New Link Community Center. Amrish was talking, and also I heard from Srila Prabhupada, similar points, where Srila Prabhupada also mentioned that actually it is not possible to become desireless totally. It's not possible. But we can change the quality of a desire. So these are all basic philosophy that we learn. That actually, rather than try to serve our own senses, we engage senses in Krishna's service. And that will actually gives us actually gratification to the senses as well, to the required degree. So Srila Prabhupada always says that we cannot artificially suppress the senses. So senses need some gratification, so we give it this way. So actually we offer something to Krishna, accept that as a prasad. So it's a simple example. So actually the Bhagavatam verse, Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janityashu Ashu Vairagyam Jnanam Chayad Ahetukam. So in this one, actually, the instruction here is that actually one who's rendering transcendental service unto the Supreme Lord. So the knowledge and detachment, it is given. Once you actually engage in this actually devotional service, this will come. This will follow the knowledge and then detachment. So here, actually, as we know, that Srila Prabhupada in the last sentence he said that actually there is no liberation for those who in more goodness. So for speaking about mode of goodness, even I struggle to understand what the mode of goodness is, because I never experienced it myself. That's what I'm saying. This is very easy to understand because I experienced it myself. For mode of goodness, to be there constantly is the hard work for me. Maybe we are not even there. I do not know. But actually, unless we get rid of this material desires, so becoming desirelessness or becoming material desirelessness, as we can call it, giving up the material desires. So it will not happen actually without the knowledge. So I realize the importance of actually always. Srila Prabhupada also said that he has written all these books for us, so we can read and we understand this philosophy. And then actually detachment can follow. And without detachment, it's very hard to actually do the offenseless chanting. So we understand the link, understand actually the philosophy here. So that's why actually, even actually, I'm actually inclined to actually more actually philosophical study rather than actually other things. So I do actually means like to actually study and try to understand the philosophical concepts. But putting this in actually practice is a very difficult for me myself. Maybe initially I think it was uh, we can able to do it, but now actually as Amrish Bhai always says that we should actually practice what you preach. So it's always a challenge for me to actually preach because of that. Because unless I'm practicing it, it's very hard to preach. But it's also very important that unless we actually study and understand, there is no question of actually achieving the detachment. And without the detachment, there is no question of actually getting out of this mode of passion. So yeah, so we are far away from even mode of goodness, and actually to become actually devotee, one has to also transcend the mode of goodness. So yeah, yes, Prabhuji. So this is what I actually understand while thinking on this verse. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Amrish Prabhu. Can I just tell you what I was thinking while I was reading that realization purport?
Your question?
Yeah, question, yes, which I didn't ask, but I thought I'm going to ask you, correct?
Yes, you showed me that, refer to that verse, that
Yeah.
Srimad Bhagavatam.
Yeah.
The translation, the second part was a question. Maybe what we can do is let others. It's already 8:30 now, so
Yeah.
8:32 already. So if there's others are prepared. Let them also share their realizations.
Yes, Prabhuji, I can ask
And
later. I'm not
probably you
prepared.
can ask for in our next session when we have. Probably not next week because next week we won't have the class, but the week after, And just put that question beforehand if you can, and we can have a small discussion before the class. Let us let others speak now if they have realized, if they are
Yes,
prepared.
thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you, His Grace Amrish Prabhuji, Her Grace Kun Pragya Devi Dasi Mataji, and His Grace Krishna Samarpan Krishna Prabhuji for encouraging us and training us to give our realizations. So we are doing Bhagavad Gita, chapter 14, verse 7 today. Rajo ragatmakam vidhi Krishna sanga samudbhavam तन्निबध्नाति कौन्तेय कर्म संगेन देहिनाम. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The mode of passion is born of unlimited desires and longings, O son of Kunti, and because of this, the embodied living entity is bound to material fruitive actions. So as we are discussing the three modes of material nature, chapter's name is, and then we discussed mode of goodness, what happens in mode of goodness and how mode of goodness binds a living entity. And now we are discussing how mode of passion binds a person, binds a living entity in this material world, and that's why he is taking birth after birth. And what is the reason? So the reason is that there are unlimited desires and hankerings which the living entity is generating because the word is here dehinam, the embodied, because this body is there and this body is the cause of all these desires and all these hankerings. There's a body, and that is generating that desires that we eat good, then better, then best, then there are relationships, then the expansions of the body. So everything is increasing, and then with that the desires, to fulfill those desires, the person has to work, and then the work is, because if it is not done for satisfaction of Krishna, then it's binding the living entity, and then he keeps coming in this material world, birth after birth. So that is the very nicely Srila Prabhupada has already explained in his purport. And the word Trishna is very strong word, Krishna or hankering. And I was just thinking how this Krishna or hankering is satisfied. It's never satisfied with our efforts if we are trying to just satisfy our senses and expanded senses as well. But it is satisfied when we use everything in service of Krishna, and that is the only way this hankering or Krishna is satisfied. Otherwise, there is no way. So this is the message I have taken from this verse, and it's understanding the message is very important, and then how to follow that message in our life is the difficult part. And yep, so that is the thing I have taken from this verse. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you very much for your nice realizations, as always. So we are on Bhagavad Gita, chapter 14, verse 7. Rajoragatmakam vidhi Krishna Sangha samudbhavam tannibadnati kaunteya karma sangena dehinam. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The mode of passion is born of unlimited desires and longings, O son of Kunti, and because of this, one is bound so much. Of this, one is bound to material fruitive activities. So, Puppet by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In this puppet, the one sentence that really caught me was if there is no liberation for those in the mode of goodness, what of those who are entangled in the mode of passion? So in the previous verse, we have discussed about mode of goodness, and then also that mode of goodness is not going to take you to liberation. So we have to go about that mode of goodness. And I was just thinking that, first of all, I remember always His Holiness Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj Srila Gurudev, one very important point Maharaj would always raise in the lectures is about changing our own self. And Amrish Prabhu also always stressed on this, that you have to change yourself. And change yourself, this is the meaning for me. This is what it means. This verse is telling us to change ourselves, to bring ourselves to that level of consciousness. And when you hear for the first time, you have to change yourself. You know that for me, it wasn't very clear initially when I heard that. How do I actually change myself? What is the direction, and what is it going to achieve? How is it going to achieve Krishna consciousness? But here it's very clearly said that even when you are in the mode of goodness, where and then again before I say you're in the mode of goodness, anyone is in the mode of goodness, it's really whether you are in the mode of goodness, because there's a very thin line and a lot of difference between what we project ourselves to be and what we actually are. We may be thinking of a lot of things in our head, in our mind, and everything, and then we are projecting something else. That can be possible. It can be a show business. Anything is possible, and I'm not talking about anyone else. I'm just saying, just generally, how we how what our thought process is. And I remember this lecture where we had a discussion about what is the root of all of this consciousness and everything, and it was a thought. So what is going on in our mind, only we know. And then how we project it and how we behave ourselves or how we conduct ourselves, that is another thing. And then we are living in this material world and we have all these excuses. We are living in the material world, and how are we supposed to um, do all these things? And you need passion to do all your work and everything. And passion is a very good thing in material sense. When people talk about passion, you need to have passion to do something and all those things. And then you have to leave that aside, and then you go to say you try to be in the mode of goodness, where then you have to leave that too, to transcend. And you're still living in this material world and doing it. How do you do that? So one is you have to change your thought process. Then you have to change your acharan, your behavior. And it is going to be a constant battle. And then also, Srila Prabhupada says that of what I've heard from even my Prabhuji mentioning this point many times about mode of different modes of nature, is that you do not stay in one mode. You're constantly, one is dominating the other two. So there's always that dominance. But all this is still dependent on us. Which mode we allow to dominate. And then by practice, we can allow the mode of goodness to dominate, and then transcend those modes. So so I was thinking, in one way it is very, very difficult, because you're trying to navigate so many things. 1 minute you're just quietly sitting and trying to think without any disturbance. You're trying to think how you can serve the devotees, how you can serve your spiritual master, how you can serve Lord Krishna, and that they can be pleased. And the next minute something can happen and it can just change your thinking and can take you somewhere else, and it might be very urgent. You have to attend to those things. So I was, when I'm reading this chapter, the constant, because I had to do a little catch up also, the constant thing that came to my mind was that this is about changing my consciousness, purifying it, cleaning it. Like Srila Gurudev, again, I remember His Holiness Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj says, it's your devotional service of bhakti is like a fabric. You have to take care of it. How you take care of it, how you clean it. And then even if you try to achieve, there is all these different impediments to it. So it seems so difficult. And then still Srila Prabhupada and Srila Gurudev says it's so easy. So how is it so easy? How does it become so easy? And that can be possible only by always remember Krishna and never forget him too. Can be possible only by constantly trying to serve and do your devotional service, where then you don't have time to think about other things. And we all have experienced that when we are very focused and busy in our devotional service, then that can be possible. You get a little glimpse of it. But to then stay in that state of consciousness, that is the challenge, and that is also the mission or the goal. So yeah, I'm just going to conclude by saying that this chapter is very, very important. And Srila Prabhupada also says that, as you're progressing from Bhagavad Gita chapter 1 to chapter 18, this is more confidential knowledge and more superior knowledge. And this is coming after 12th chapter, which is devotional service. So we have understood what is it to do devotional service. Now we're trying to understand how we should be able to reach that platform or that level of consciousness. And yeah, personally, I find this chapter is really very, very interesting. And I'm hoping to achieve some further progress in my level of consciousness by reading this with all the devotees and from all the devotees' realizations. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Hare Krishna. So we'll conclude today's discussion then. Thank you very much. So Krishna willing, we'll meet all of you on next Friday at 6 p.m. And yeah, just let us know before 5 p.m. this Friday if you're not able to make it, please. Thank you very much. Just let in the Leader Sangha group. Okay. And otherwise, all the Leader Sangha devotees will share their realizations on Ram Navami for the appearance of Lord Ram in the program. Speak for about 15 odd minutes, each of you, 15, 20 minutes there, from what you have studied, as usual, that we do. Thank you. Jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is ki Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai. Shri Nectar of Devotion ki Jai. Shri Gurudev ki Jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Chandra Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Shri Anant Koti Vaishnava ki Jai. Hare Krishna.